What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with some more news. Oh boy, there is some huge news coming out of the wrestling world, so strap yourself in because the WWE has made some massive changes to SmackDown in fear of CV. We look at whether the WWE is worried and has a backup plan for WrestleMania 36, how Trump's travel ban could affect it, NXT teasing a debut, another confirmation for the WWE Hall of Fame 2020, and it's a well-deserved one, how the WWE have stopped using the revival, the Usos reveal a strange story about Vince McMahon, and a former WWE referee is not a fan of AJ Styles breaking kayfabe. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. But before we get into the first story, thanks to YouTube's draconian rules, in order to not get our videos demonetized, we will name the worldwide bug, a name you should be familiar with by now, as CV. So whenever we mention it, it'll be changed to CV, and that includes tweets or quotes. We apologize in advance, but hey, that's YouTube. We must adapt to its rules. But anyway, now that that's out of the way, we can finally get into the first story where it's rumored that WWE have made big changes to Friday Night SmackDown. So now that CV has affected both the NBA as it's postponed its season and this year's E3 event has been cancelled, WWE could have also taken some huge measures in order to safeguard the public. WWE announced this week that there are big plans for SmackDown and that John Cena, Jeff Hardy and Paige will all be returning this week. But unfortunately, only a few fans might get the opportunity to see them live, as it's been reported that the WWE has moved its show to the WWE's Performance Center. PWInsider.com reported, World Wrestling Entertainment has pulled the plug on this Friday's SmackDown taping in Detroit, Michigan, and will instead broadcast Friday Night SmackDown and 205 Live this week from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. PWInsider.com has confirmed with multiple sources. Now this is massive, and with CV outbreak growing in large numbers by the day, it could mean that the same changes could be made to upcoming Raw events and possibly even WrestleMania. Wow, could you imagine WrestleMania 36 at the Performance Center? But as reputable as PW Insider is, they may have got the report wrong, as WWE released the following statement to Pro Wrestling Sheet, as plans to move SmackDown to the Performance Center is merely a contingency plan. They noted, WWE has not cancelled Friday Night SmackDown in Detroit. However, based on the current situation, we are putting contingency plans in place in the event that upcoming WWE shows are cancelled by government officials, civil authorities, and or local venues. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com also confirmed, in an update, WWE says SmackDown has not yet been moved. However, we can confirm PW Insider's report that the word going around among many within WWE tonight that there was a plan to move SmackDown and likely other upcoming events. But whilst plans are in place for SmackDown, is there bad news for WrestleMania 36? As we mentioned in yesterday's news, the WWE is scheduled to have a meeting with Tampa Bay officials to discuss whether WrestleMania should go ahead or not and or possibly be postponed. Tampa area reporter John Albert tweeted there could be a significant update on the status of WrestleMania 36 within the next 24 hours and that the news might not be good for WWE. I do believe we will hear an update on the status of WrestleMania within 24 hours or so, and I would suspect things aren't trending in a positive direction. PW Insider WrestleVotes also gave an update on the situation, tweeting, I asked a few sources about Mania and the CV situation. Some had no info to relay. One said if it can go on as planned, it will. Safe to say WWE just doesn't know yet. All very fluid, all to be decided. He then followed up with, update, it's not looking good now, and after that tweeted, guys, I want it to still happen too, trust me, but it's not looking good at the moment. I would think they look to reschedule rather than cancel, but time will tell. So far, the city of Tampa has confirmed on Twitter that as of yesterday, WrestleMania is still planned to go ahead. They tweeted, "Hello, at this time WrestleMania is still planned to proceed on schedule. Please contact the WWE with questions about cancellations. The city is currently monitoring the spread of CV and will work with venues as needed. However, as a number of people infected increase and more sporting events cancel or postpone, they might not be left with any choice but to delay, move the event to a smaller venue, or even just live stream without any crowd." Well, even if the event goes ahead as planned, its attendance is likely to suffer. For one, fans may not want to take the risk going out in public to a stadium that could potentially hold 70,000 plus fans. And not only that, Trump's recent travel ban could also affect numbers. If you're unaware, yesterday evening, President Trump suspended travel from Europe to US, which will be effective from Friday 12th March midnight and will last 30 days. That means well past WrestleMania. Now, even though the travel ban does not include the UK, it's well known that a number of wrestling fans with different nationalities attend Mania from all over the world, with a huge fan base in Italy, Spain, and Germany. Now, this won't mean that thousands and thousands of fans won't be able to go to Mania, but the restrictions are bad news for those who have purchased a ticket, flight, and accommodation to attend, but are now unable to go. However, the only thing is, Trump may or not have taken in consideration that freedom of movement remains until December 31st, so fans from the EU could travel to the UK and then get a flight from there to the US. But what is the WWE doing to prevent CV from spreading? Well, as we mentioned earlier, they could move shows to the Performance Center, but WWE also has plans in place to have its employees work from home in order to keep CV at bay within WWE headquarters. PW Insider reported, "We have been told by multiple sources that work for the company that as of this week, WWE started a rotation where certain departments will be working from home/telecommuting so that WWE can plan out logistics if they need to pull the trigger on having the company's employees work outside their Stamford, Connecticut headquarters." As for other promotions, AEW issued an official statement regarding CV, mentioning that all events are moving forward as scheduled. Ring of Honor also issued a statement that mentioned all events will be proceeding as planned, but Booker T's Reality of Wrestling No Limits pay-per-view has been postponed. No Limits was scheduled for this weekend on 14th March, but has now been postponed to 11th April. As always, we will keep you updated on the situation and await news regarding WWE's meeting with Tampa officials. Next up, did NXT tease Killer Kross's debut? The former Impact star has yet to debut in WWE, but they might have teased it by showing shots of buzzards, a clock ticking down, and showing the meaning of the word apocalypse. What do you guys think? Next up, the British Bulldog has been confirmed for the Hall of Fame. A former WWE Intercontinental, Tag Team, Hardcore, and European Champion Davey Boy Smith has now been confirmed to be inducted into the 2020 WWE Hall of Fame class. Corey Graves confirmed this on his latest After the Bell podcast. It's not yet known who will induct the Bulldog since his former tag team partner the Dynamite Kid passed away in 2018, but it's rumored brother-in-law Brett will induct him, but the honor could equally go to wife Diana or son Harry Smith. However it may be, it's about damn time the Bulldog was inducted. This one is well overdue. Next up, WWE have stopped using the Revival, and it has affected their pay. The Revival's contract is close to expiring with WWE, and they've so far made no indication that they will re-sign with the company. As a result, the relationship between WWE and the tag team has soured. Originally, the team was supposed to battle in the Elimination Chamber match, but they were replaced with Lucha House Party. Since they're just sitting at home, this has also affected their pay. Fightful.com mentioned that Dawson and Wilder are either not getting paid or their pay has been extremely scaled back because they have exceeded their downside guarantees. With their limited use and low pay, we're pretty sure the team are just itching to get out of their contracts and sign elsewhere. Next up, the Usos were told not to look like Roman Reigns. A former tag team champions, the Usos, recently appeared on the New Day's Feel the Power podcast and of course discussed a number of topics including their heel turn, face paint, and when they were allowed to do their entrance. One particularly interesting takeaway from the podcast is, despite them being cousins of Roman Reigns, Vince didn't want them to look like him. Yes, there was resistance to Usos giving up their face paint. Obviously for the heel change, we needed to change everything, but they were saying when they had first seen us working in all black, it was like, you guys look too much like Roman, don't look like Roman. Man, who the hell are we supposed to look like? We're in the same gene pool, Us. Like, we fought to get that face paint off. They wanted us to keep it, but in my mind it wasn't gonna work. There was no way we could get away from that. Like, we were colourful, but then we had to get completely away from that. They can't tell who y'all are without the face paint. You know how that is. Vince just gets stranger by the day. Next he'll be like, Jay, you can't look like your twin Jimmy. And finally, former WWE referee was not a fan of AJ Styles breaking kayfabe. Now on this week's edition of Raw, AJ Styles challenged the Dead Man to a match at WrestleMania 36 and wasn't too concerned with kayfabe, calling Taker by his real name Mark Calloway. Some people liked it, but not everyone was a fan of breaking kayfabe, one being former WWE referee Jimmy Corderas. He mentioned,
I had a different issue with it. I know a lot of people went, ooh, when AJ Styles went a little inside baseball and called The Undertaker Mark Calloway his real shoot name. I'm not a big fan of that because it's like watching The Godfather and all of a sudden you call Michael Corleone Al Pacino in the middle of the thing. It makes no sense to me. We watch wrestling, yes, I get it. We suspend disbelief. You're supposed to buy into the characters. But if you're going to buy into the characters and you're going to buy into wrestling as a whole and suspend your disbelief, let's not go overboard and start tearing down that fourth wall to the point where you just, all credibility goes out the window. Stick with the characters, stay that way, have fun with it.
Do you guys agree with him? Kayfabe is dead anyway, isn't it? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.